And we're live. Hey guys, welcome back to Whiskey Charlie, the War Game Chat, our monthly show on YouTube. I'm your host, Mo from Mo's Game Table, and joining me are my two esteemed co-hosts, everybody's favorite Gimp with the Limp, Gimp Gamer, Nate Rogers. How's it going, Nate?
Glorious day in the court, man.
And the Wargaming Wizard from Oz, Kev Sharp from the Big Board. How's it going, Kev?
Another glorious day in the whatever.
Another glorious day in Kerrville.
Another glorious day in Kerrville.
There you go. So we are only a few days away from Halloween, 3 days to be exact.
Yeah.
Which is spooky time of year.
Well, that doesn't matter to you guys.
Yeah, I know we have you on the show every month, so that's scary enough.
Scary enough.
No, you don't have trick-or-treating age kids to
we don't have trick-or-treaters that come to this house. And anyway, I have hockey on Friday, so I would miss it anyway. But since we moved over here, we have nobody. Every year at the other place in Allen, we had kids all the time. We loved it. We'd go out, we'd sit out front, we'd wait for the kids, and we'd talk to them, talk to the parents, give them a bunch of candy, and had a good old time.
We still take the kids around. We've got a good neighborhood for trick-or-treating. But we found the perfect house.
Really?
It's a neighborhood right next to ours. It's the way the neighborhoods are designed. It's almost like it's part of our neighborhood. But their house is such that it's not easily seen. And if you don't know it's there, you'll completely miss it. There's a little bridge that crosses a creek that goes back to a couple more houses. No one else knows it's back there, but we found them last year, and these people go all out. I'm talking the full-size candy bars, house is fully decorated, and then they've got the moonshine and whiskey and shit set out for the parents.
Nice.
Yeah, so they're taking care of it. My guess is like they don't get that many trick-or-treaters, so they really take care of the ones that get back there. So that's house number one. We're going to visit them a couple of times this year.
Nice. I would be too. I mean, something like that would be great. Do you guys get trick-or-treaters, Kev, or no?
No, the last two houses, including this one, driveway, the kids just look at it like, yeah, that's some grade A bullshit. I'm not doing that.
They're scary.
And here we're too far out of town and all that sort of stuff. We don't attract anybody. We used to do a walk around the neighborhood with everybody, and when we were transitioning out of town, we lived in a little like housing development, and we were in a cul-de-sac, and we were they closed off the cul-de-sac and had a party. That was kind of fun. I'd never done that sort of neighborhood thing before. Never been good with neighbors, so.
That's always good. That's a good way for neighbors all to get to know each other.
Yeah.
That's how you can find out who you will back up and who you won't, basically.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
But see, we get a lot of the transplants too, right? So people who, my guess is they don't have a neighborhood or they don't have a good neighborhood.
Right.
So they'll come and they'll drive to ours.
So I
don't really care. I mean, we got plenty of houses, so that's fine. But I don't like how they have like a car and they're driving down the middle of the road. It's like, no, park somewhere else out of the way and then just walk the neighborhood like everyone else.
Yeah, come on. People drive it. That's bullshit. Come on.
Is this congrats or sympathy, John? Tell us. No, congrats, man. Congrats. Yeah, no, that's yeah. No, you got to walk. I can't stand. They do that here too, where they come from like other part of, the other side of town. It's like 5, 6, 7, 8 miles away and they're hitting all the neighborhoods. It's like, no.
And they rush through. They don't do the thing. And it's not, I used to love watching just all the really tiny kids.
Yeah, that's the best.
Walking around with their parents, and the parents obviously got the stroller to, carry the candy and, and beverages in the drink holders. And, it was a really great community thing. And then you'll get, I'll call them out-of-towners or other suburb folk just turning up, and they'll like scoop handfuls of candy. Then you gotta go tackle Spider-Man, and it gets ugly, right?
Can't stand that. I like when I see the older kids, I'm like, they say, well, the older kid, like they're too old. I'm like, man, you're really right on the limit. I'm giving you one little Snickers bar. Little kids, I'm like, here you go. Here's a handful, and then exactly, like, oh no, that's too much. I'm like, I know, that's why I'm giving them a handful.
Well, I don't mind, like up to an age, maybe like 14.
But once you hit 15, 16, you're really pushing it, in my opinion.
Yeah, you should be going to like a high school Halloween party at that age.
Yeah, I mean, it's for the little ones. Don't try to take the little ones' candies. It's just.
Well, mine are still at that age where they really, enjoy this. I mean, my youngest is 4,
but that's
so this is the first one she's really going to understand what she's doing, and she's
Awesome.
real excited. The others, I mean, 10, 8, and 6, they're all still good ages for.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all want to be demon hunters. I don't know what it is, but it's some Korean thing.
Where'd that come from?
K-pop demon hunters, I think is what it's called.
Oh gosh, no idea. Now I need to look it up.
I have no clue, but all the girls want to be one, so that's what
you're going to ruin my Instagram feed with this now. K-pop demon hunters.
You know, the funny thing is, John is making a joke home of the Macon Whoopie, and yes, that was a hockey team in Macon, Georgia. Was the Macon Whoopie?
Yeah.
I love that name. So Joe says, no one comes trick-or-treating. We end up eating the candy and getting fatter. Well, that's true too. You can always, it's the day after Halloween though, that we like the best, because we're like, okay, all the candy is 50% off. Maybe by Sunday, it'll be 60% off, you know.
My wife buys those things that look like corn cobs. And we go through
candy corn.
Yeah, candy corn. We go through those things. They're
funny thing is, so many people hate candy corn and they make fun of candy corn. I'm like, no, you're un-American. Candy corn is awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I eat it by the handful.
Diabetes in a pill.
Yeah.
But it is great. It is great stuff. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And, I mean, like I said, I'll have hockey on Friday night and Saturday night because the season's back up and running, and they're jamming in games in the first, 2 weeks ago. We had a game Friday, Saturday. We have a game tomorrow night. We have a game Saturday, Sunday. Friday, Saturday this week. And then we have another game Wednesday next week. And then I think they have a break for a couple weeks before they're back home. So I'm like, wow, they're just jamming them all right up front the first couple of weeks. So that definitely makes it more interesting. And I'm just glad that hockey's back up and running for me. And I got my dogs running around the house right now. Normally I have the door closed, but my wife is up in New Jersey. She's coming back tomorrow. She's up visiting her dad. So the dogs are coming in going, what are you doing, Daddy?
That's nice. I love it.
Yeah.
Mine's on my chair. I don't know what's going on.
Oh yeah, always chilling on the chair.
Yeah, check this out.
There he is. Don't bother me. Go away, man.
That's my spot. I think he actually sleeps there at night now. He has a bed, but why sleep in the bed that I paid?
He's got the nice comfy chair.
Yeah, mine did the same. He took over my man chair, and now it's his little spot.
Yeah, now I know why it smells. It's so funny.
So we were talking about, some things we wanted to talk about tonight. And I know that there was a discussion about, and Jeff is here too, Hexy. They were talking about getting into World War II gaming, like from the lower end, the introductory game, all the way to intermediate, advanced, and the complex games. And I would say, instead of rehashing World War II subject, why don't we just toss out, and people in the audience can also toss out, a couple of introductory war games or simple war games that you would recommend to people. Anybody that you just meet and they're saying, hey, I want to try a war game. What would you recommend to try, and why? So anybody in the audience wants to, chip in too, I would say definitely write it up there, and it'll be more for us to talk about as well. But Kev, you go first. What do you think what would you suggest first off?
To me, the classic has always been that, I think it was SBI, what's it called? First Strike or Strike First or whatever it was, or Strike Force. Two or three counters each. Hexes, zones control, tiny little 4x8 map. And if you get excited about playing that 2 or 3 times, and you're like, well, is there more to this? Well, then you can then graduate, and it's like 1.5 pages of rules. Yeah. Then you can graduate to something that's Battle for Moscow or Command and Colors or Memoir 44 or Strike Force. That's it. So I must have played that Strike Force game. In fact, you guys may not remember, but remember the Asian girl Miyagi or Miyagi?
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Wow.
She was great.
Right. So I introduced her to Strike Force because she was looking at war games to play, and she played it 3 or 4 times and recorded it and all that sort of fun stuff. And I'm not saying that's what got her started into war games, but she had an interest anyway. there was her and another person, the German lady, I forget her name now. But you know, I would do little, back when live streaming was new, do little live streams for the two of them, and just talk about war games. And that the German girl got excited about Panzergrenadier. She thought it was like the cleanest set of rules she'd ever seen. I think my wife just closed the doors because I'm too loud. So there you go. Anyway,
you have some peace and quiet.
yeah, really. So that's a thing. So I think there's lots of simple games like that folks could find, keep in their little bookcase, and go, oh, let me show you a simple way to play this. To play these, and it's more of the same. It just gets a little bit more complicated and more fun.
So the red team on Meandering Mike's channel. He was doing a zombies challenge, and it was our team versus three amigos in command post, and Whiskey Charlie comes out the victor. I did not watch the rest of it yet. I watched the first like 25 minutes or so, 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'm about 40 minutes into it.
I got up to the part where I was very happy and very proud of Mike for doing it the right way, because he's like, okay, it's Whiskey Charlie's turn. They're going right up the middle. They're going to start. I think it was mines that we used, or frag. I think it was mines, and that we just like splattered everything. I was like, that's exactly the way we would do it. We've got artillery. We're going to hit with the heavy stuff, and then we're going to run up guns blazing. It's like no pussyfooting around, man.
That's how we roll, bro.
There's zombies to kill.
Yeah, it made me want to crack out. Oh shit! Now I'm brain farting the name of the zombies game. The one we were talking about the other day. Zombicide. Yeah. It made me want to crack that one out.
I wanted to now that I've been reading the Arisen series that I've told Kev about. I'm like 4 books into the Arisen Raiders line, which is a unit of Marine Raiders in the zombie apocalypse. And all of these books are based on different tier 1 and tier 2 units. You know, SEALs, they get Delta, they got Rangers, they got the Marine Raiders. And it's really cool how they're kind of tying it into how they're operating as units, and then how they're trying to exist in the real world and stuff, which is pretty cool. And the Marines are a part of the Kennedy Strike Force, the JFK Strike Force. So the carrier strike force. So they have a little bit of a major benefit by being out in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. And they only have to go into sea at certain times, you know, for when they're, you know, getting stuff. But it's pretty cool. And that makes me want to get some of my modern figures and start playing a modified version of Zombicide, kind of like Arisen, you know, using better rules or better rules. Right. That would be fun.
Well, I'm surprised Lock and Load didn't bring out more zombie scenarios. They used to do
all things zombie.
All things zombie.
Well, all things zombie, but then they had these Lock and Load tactical zombie scenarios.
They had it for
World War II one, and there's a modern
Somalia.
one. Yeah, Somalia, Day of Heroes. Maybe I'll play. Maybe that's an excuse to play Plum Island Horror this week if I can.
Nice.
I haven't played that yet.
So Nate, what would you suggest for entry level war game?
Well, I was thinking about it. I mean, it's not a very narrow topic, because what do you talk about? You talk about Hex Encounter. Are you talking about like a roll and ride?
Well, yeah, we're going to keep it simple. We're going to have just Hex Encounter. We're talking about somebody who wants to play a traditional war game.
War games with the 1d6, not a
war game. No cards, no cubes, none of that. I mean,
I
Battle Cry is fine
with
too, and Memoir 44 is fine too.
You don't have to get like a basic like folio game or something. You can get a full size game and just start with a smaller scenario. So something like a Heroes of Normandy, or Conflict of Heroes, Awakening the Bear, the 3rd edition, because 3rd edition is excellent. Or even the newer one, Assault Sicily 43. You can start with those smaller scenarios. They have scenarios that only have 5 units on each side. But that way, once you've played that a couple of times, you've already got the box. You've already got the bigger scenarios. You're ready to step up to something bigger without having to invest into another game. I think that's the better way to go. I mean, one of the first ones I ever got into was Lock and Load Tactical. Yeah, I mean, it was a little complex for a beginner, but it wasn't that hard to get into it.
No.
I think if you're coaching someone, it's perfectly fine, right? I'm also thinking about just someone saying, "Oh, what should I get?" And you tell them something, and they go and
Well,
want to download it or buy it. Or whatever.
there you go. Brief Border Wars 1 and 2. That's actually those are pretty simple games to get into.
Yeah,
I would say even simpler. I would go like something like Battle for Moscow or something like that.
yeah,
Really small footprint,
yeah,
real easy to get into. Like Kevin was saying with his, something you could just sit down and you can jam out a game by learning and playing and kind of, especially if you can be taught, you can play it in like 45 minutes to an hour.
yeah.
And then you get the concept of Zocs and movement and
Not with Brief
combat
Border
and
Wars. That's area
CRTs.
control.
What's
With
that?
what?
They're not Brief Border Wars is area. It's not hexes.
No, yeah, that's different, but it's still a basic enough game where you
Sure,
can get someone that's newer to wargaming. You can,
sure.
get them to play. But
Yeah,
I would say, Battle for Moscow would be one of those, any of those old Victory Point hex encounter games would be pretty simple to get into. And then they have like Leningrad, I think is another one, or I think, what was it, Leningrad? Or,
Kiev.
yeah, one of
Yeah,
Kiev's
and
another one. Yeah.
and also I think block games. I think block games are a great. Some of the Columbia games that
Yeah.
have find a theme someone's interested in, whether it's the War of the Roses or
Mhm.
that Quebec one that we just played recently.
Yeah.
The Julius Caesar one. They're easy games because it's 6 or 8 pages of rules, and if they get excited about that, then you can graduate them onto something like SCS or something
Sure.
straight up. All the old SBI folio magazine games are pretty much the same system with a few tweaks. So we'll play a Tie Bomber game. There you go. And talking about basic, you could do that. Oh,
Yeah.
I said that out loud. I meant to keep that to myself. I'm sorry.
Oops. Put the
Just
filter
start
back
them
in.
off deep. Tell them to go 1985 under an iron sky.
Yeah.
Sure. Not hard at all.
And a
Or
dark
you can
wood.
just say, you can even mess with it maybe more. Say, Iron Armor is a really great beginner's game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there you
nice
go.
streamlined rule book, not too big.
Yeah.
It's only 150 pages.
It's only 150 pages and 75 pages of designer notes telling you how cool he is.
And
again.
that's actually, those
Here we
are
go. Yeah. Solo
good.
games.
The Battle of the Boulage.
The Bellagio, Battle of the Bellagio. I love that game. I played that game, the little PC version of that game,
Mhm.
probably 50 times. And
Yeah,
the Battle for
World War II
Moscow
Commander
one or
Series.
whatever is good too.
Yeah, the World War II Commander Series. It's great on the, the Bulge game is great on the laptop, or not laptop, the iPad or on the computer.
Right.
But it's really good as a board game. I mean, it's a really fun game. You
I
can
haven't tried it.
get anybody into it.
I was looking at the Compass Games sale and I was like, maybe I'll get that. I was like, I've played it 50 times. Stop.
Yeah, but it's something that if your wife has ever been curious about war games at all, it's one that you could probably get her to play.
Are you kidding me?
It's worth a shot.
She's really proud of me, but she wants nothing to do with it. Trust me.
There's
She'll
another good
play
one,
some
Cells.
other games.
That's a
I
good
don't
one.
know Celis.
But the only thing with Cells is the movement points and used for combat might throw people off a little bit.
I like the other game in that series it's Gazalo or something, the Cauldron.
Oh yeah.
That's a really good game. It's better than Celis, I think.
Wizard Kings from Columbia. That's another good one.
Never heard of it. Sounds
well, you
interesting.
can get taught Aaron Armour by Bruce Maxwell by watching the video series. That's why we did the video series.
How many videos?
Christopher Smith. Shame there are no training videos anywhere. I know, darn. And then he does a good teaching series on Aaron Armour. Yes, he does. And so that's what I would say for that would be one. Another one that I would say if they ever bring it back and they do it the way they did it probably like about 10 years ago, it would be Ogre, because they came out with the Ogre,
I've
small
got
pack
the
that was $2.95. Well, you can get the deluxe one, but they came out with the one that was $2.95 in the little plastic bag.
Yeah.
Nice little counters, a simple map. And I was like, oh, wow, this is cool just to have. And I bought like 3 or 4 copies of it. And I gave out like 3 of them, I think. And I have just the 1 copy. And I'm keeping this just for, old,
Right.
nostalgia. And on top of
Right.
it, it's nice to carry with you if you travel anywhere.
Well, they also had there were those little games that came in the little cardboard box
Mhm.
that was folded over map, folded over rules, and a tiny sheet of counters. One was like General Rommel or Panzer something, and then they had half a dozen of them. And I bought a whole bunch of those, played them all, and messed around with them. And I was like, okay, this really not, this is when I was getting back into gaming, not meaty enough for me. So
Yeah.
but they're interesting as well. So there's dozens of those floating around if you can find them.
But we really don't need. I mean, yes, there's introductory games and stuff like that, but now with the resources that are available, almost every game out there has some guy who's done a video on it, talking about it.
Yeah, but we're talking about people who've never played a war game before.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. The first time you play a war game, especially if you're not around war gamers, they're
Right.
kind of daunting. You're like, oh my God, these maps are, what are these things, these lines on them? And how does this, what do they mean by CRT? What's a DRM?
Yeah.
It's it's very, alien unless you have somebody that can sit down and teach you. If you do, that's great. And even if you watch a channel, we're throwing around terms like ZOCs and DRMs and all that stuff. Like, it's old hat. These people are like, could someone stop and explain what that is? Because they don't know.
Right.
So that is a challenge for somebody who may live in an area where they don't have a big gaming store, they don't have a lot of war gamers around, and they've been curious, but they've never had anybody to give them direction, and they don't know that there are some really simple war games out there they can jump on and play, and then from there jump up to other games.
Oh, that's something I've always said was the difference between a good rule book and a bad rule book, is that every rule book has to be written with that thought in mind that this could be someone's first game. So you can't ever take anything as a granted that someone's going to know.
Should be, but
Well, I get it though, because that's a natural mistake for someone to make to, not impart all the information when they're writing the rule book. That's why you have to have a designer coming behind you and kind of editing that stuff. Right. And yes, World at War 85 is a guaranteed. It is excellent.
Mm-hmm. War at Sea is another one.
Did a lot of boot camp videos on that one.
Yes, you did.
And it was like 30 videos long. Lock and Load Tactical was like 60 videos long.
Well, like Jeff says, he plays a lot of sports games, can pick them up really quick. War games are a whole other ball game entirely, in difficulty. So
the sports games are easier than I thought they would be. Not that they're not.
It can depend. I mean, I think it really comes down to what your interest in the sport is and what your knowledge of the sport is, because then that makes understanding the rules easier because you know what they're trying to convey or what they're trying to model. Right. Whereas a war game, people are like, okay, what do you do here? Oh, you mean you just push cardboard pieces at each other and then you roll a dice? That's kind of simple. There you go. There's a racing game.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I really like that game. I think it's fun.
Oh, there you go. Enemy Action Kharkov.
Wow. Way to go. Way to jump in there.
Nice. And you were able to get it right from the video. Nice. Awesome.
Well, like I said, though, there's plenty. I did a bunch of videos on Kharkov. I know others did as well. So there's a jump off point. There's someone out there talking about it to help you get into it.
Yeah. Yeah, there is. And that is one of the best things about it is there are people doing that. And then there's even, which we have been remiss in getting to some live, like Friday Night Fights type stuff like we've done in the past. And you can play. And if we have the designer on, it's even better because then you can sit down and play. And then people can literally ask a question right to the designer or the publisher and say, why did you do this way? Or what kind of tank are you modeling here or whatever, and they can explain it right then and there, which I think is a great way to introduce their product to different people, aside from all of us that are normal customers, but some of the new people, because
that's why I really like that Long Road series we did. That was
fun.
Yeah.
And we should have, if I wasn't so darn busy, I would have thought ahead of time saying we got to get, Mark on and do something for Broken Logic, because Broken Logic is going to be that closes out in 3 days. The what do you call that? The backer kit or whatever. The Pledge Manager that closes out in 3 days.
Yeah. Yeah,
Is that
I
the
ordered that
expansion for
forever
it?
ago. Yeah,
What's that? Okay,
Is that the expansion for the
mhm.
Long Road?
yeah.
Damn, I haven't backed that.
Oh, and did you know? So I think you probably know Mo, but he got picked up by Wargate Books. So they're a publisher of a couple of series of sort of Star Wars clone
Mhm.
book, and then there's a bunch of former Rangers who are writing about sort of a D&D post-apocalyptic world. He got picked up by them for his book series, and they're redeveloping all the books. So he's going to be like the real deal.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I'm
Yeah,
excited because those were part of the Broken Logic, I think.
yeah, yeah, yeah. The
Kickstarter.
whole World at War '85, and then
Mhm.
World at War, and then the Long Road. All that stuff is right in his wheelhouse, and his.
Yeah.
I think I think Nick Cole, who's one of the principals at Wargate
Mhm.
Books, goes, "What do you mean it's World War III with werewolves and vampires? Why have I not heard of this
Exactly.
fucking game and series?" And so Mark sent him the games, and he's like, "This is awesome."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's what we should do. That's what we should do. We need to get them on playing Long Road, and we got to get Nick on. And if we can get
oh god,
Onspach on too, that would be fucking
that is
awesome.
so awesome.
That
Yeah,
would be
those
like,
guys are
okay, that's
so
a
cool.
Friday night. That's a Friday night whiskey Charlie after dark because it's going to be very adult. There's going to be plenty of whiskey, and there's going to be a lot of wargaming.
Yeah, God, I'd pee my pants if I was on the same live
That
stream.
would be so
Nick,
cool.
he's
Be
such a
like, what
stud.
would Tyrus Rex do?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, fucking
And then of course, first thing you do when Nick would be like, "Oh man, that's not nice. You went and you killed my unit." It's like KTF, brother.
yeah, exactly.
I learned it from you. That would be so much fun.
So much fun.
But what was I going to say? And that's another one. The Arisen series. Going back to that for a second, they should be under that same umbrella.
Yeah,
I don't know
right.
if they have their own group or what, but they should be in there because that's all, like I said, modern
It's right in their
military in
wheelhouse.
the
Yeah.
zombie apocalypse. And the interesting thing about the zombie apocalypse that they're doing is it's literally so far that I haven't gotten into any reason as to why zombies have happened,
Right.
but they have, and they're shamblers, and
Yeah.
then
And
they
then
run into
speedy guys.
some runners,
Right.
and then now they're on a oil platform, and they run into a completely different type of zombie that is not a runner, it is not a shambler. It like jumps all over the friggin' place. It's super
Right.
fast and
Right.
super aggressive.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm like,
that's in book one as well.
oh, it's
Yeah.
in book one. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're reading like the regular, you're going right into the regular series.
I didn't
right?
know. I didn't know what to get, so I scrapped that. So
Yeah. Because I got the omnibus of 1 through 6 on Audible, and
Oh.
I'm going through the first 4 now. Because what caught my eye was Raiders. I was like,
Right.
Raiders,
Marine
and it's the
Raiders.
Marine
Right.
Raiders. I was like, oh, I'm in. I'm just in. Zombies and Marines. I'm in. And then I was like, oh, this is part of like this huge world. Okay, this is even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I
And
think there's
that's
like
what got me.
17 books or more or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, they're just
It's a crap ton of books. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're in England then, right?
Yeah, it's doing the English thing, and it's kind of bouncing around. They just did a mission with this SOF guys going in to get some pharmaceutical stuff in Europe,
Yeah.
coming back, and then there's some breach of the tunnel at some area, something. I've kind of stopped for the moment, haven't picked it back up. But
Yeah, because what this one is, Raiders is these guys are just all in their own little world. The one guy does say that, you know what, humanity's not completely lost. There's there's strong rumors that the UK is still intact. But don't say that to anyone. Keep it under your hat. The one guy shares it with another guy.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay,
So we haven't gotten there yet. And like I said, the 5th book is not on audio, so I just had the book come in, and I'm finishing up. I should probably be finished with book 4 tomorrow, and then I'll just start reading book 5, and then I'll start on book 1 and go from there, because it's just I'm so like into this series now. It's so much fun. The characters are great, the interactions, the way they speak to each other. It's just it's good, and
cool.
I think you'd really dig the Arisen series, because you just listen to all the smack talk from the Marines and, the staff NCOs to the enlisted and stuff. It's so spot on. It's great.
They got to have some Marine, teaching them how we talk to each other.
Pretty much, I don't know what the guy. I have to look into what the writer is, what branch he was in, but he writes like he was in. It wasn't like he's some
Right.
dude off the street. I think he was in some branch, and he makes it very marine like. So I'm expecting each one of them to be very tailored to whatever branch it's in. And so which I think is cool because that's what you want. You want to be enveloped in that world
Yeah.
and that lingo and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Very cool.
What's
Well,
shaking?
we
Not
kind of
us.
we kind of went off.
Yeah,
Off
we did a
actually.
little.
Yeah,
We did go a
sorry,
little.
Nate.
So
Letting you girls have your chat.
so now, okay. So you have introduced the uh, introductory wargamer, and they like it, and they're interested. What would you say would be a next step? And we're not even going to go. We're not going to get sidetracked into what era, what type of war game they want, a tactical operation, whatever. We're just going to stick with generalities here. They're excited. They loved playing the war game. They really got it. Now that you showed them what a DRM was, what a CRT was, rolling the dice, they're like, wow, this is cool, but is there more? And then you go, oh yes, there is. And then
There's more.
yeah, what would you then say would be the next step that you'd recommend? And again, in the audience, what would you say would be a next step after any of these games that we talked about here?
Are you asking me or are you asking
Yeah,
Kev?
go ahead.
But you Nate, sorry.
I would say, like, in my mind, there's like different categories, right? And you have that middle of the road dining, right? So that's the TGI Fridays, the Chili's, the Applebee's, where you always go, right? The staples. They're always good. It's not the best. It's not fine dining, but it's gonna take care of your needs for a decent price, right? And in my mind, that's where you're gonna find Lock and Load Tactical. That's where you're gonna find Conflict of Heroes, Assault, any of the games, a lot by GMT, the MMP games, the SCS, the BCS, all those style series. So really there, it's going to come down to what theater, because I think theme is going to influence someone. Because if you haven't
Right.
played a Civil War game,
Yeah.
even as good as a Most Fearful Sacrifice is, if they're not in the Civil War
Right.
era, if that's not something that
Yeah.
interests them, being good thematically, that's not going to matter to them, right? So it might be better to get them into something like Enemy Action Ardennes or Combat with the exclamation point. Are they more interested in solo? Do they want something that's more like story driven? Then you might push them more towards British Tank Ace or American Tank Ace if they like that roll and write series. If they want something that they can play with someone else, they want more competitive. That's when you get into the head-to-head stuff. If you want replay value, Assault Sicily 43,
Yeah.
massive replay value of that with the way the game's, it's top for replay value. I mean, the options are endless. Even if you go into sci-fi stuff like we were just talking
Sure.
about,
Yeah.
you got The Long Road, you got Space Empires 4X if you want strategic gameplay, right? And that has solitaire. If they want something zoomed in, you go into Talon 1000. I mean, the options are really limitless.
Yeah, they're endless.
Where you go in that.
I mean, I
middle
would
road.
say, being you brought up a Most Fearful Sacrifice, I think that would be a great follow on if they like ACW, whether they said it beforehand or afterwards. You start them off with something simple like Battle Cry because it's got miniatures and it's a simple system, the Memoir 44 system, command and color system. They're like, oh wow, this is cool. Is there something more? It's like, yes, let's take this step up to the next level and play a Most Fearful Sacrifice, where it's the scope is huge. The game feels really big. It feels almost monsterish, or it feels monsterish, almost like a monster game, but it's very, very manageable for a newer gamer. You can walk them through it and they can grok it pretty quick.
Yeah, you can play smaller
thing.
scenarios.
Sure.
Yeah, same thing for Eastern Front. You could go with Thunder in the East.
Or better yet, Russian campaign, like I think it was Stuk Joe said.
Or Russia Besieged, or you can do the battles in the East from G, right? They're straightforward games, 10 pages rules.
Yeah, and even if you like Age of Sail, you can go with the Flying Colors series.
Yeah.
GMT. And like I said, it's really limitless options. It's just down to personal preference at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I like AMFS series better than Blind Swords. More choices in obviously in Blind Swords, but
Yeah.
more battles. But half the titles in the Blind Sword series you can play on AMFS, right? That's why I'm getting rid of all my Blind Sword stuff, is because half of them are Gettysburg battles, and it's first day, second day, Longstreet does this, Billy Bob does that, and all those scenarios are in Devils to Pay. All those scenarios are in AMFS.
Yeah.
Hold on, like Christoph was just saying there.
Mhm.
I use that as a bragging point to my brother, because I've actually held up the rule book to him before and been like, Lotus, that's my mug on a rule book. You don't have your mug on a rule book. I do. Brad, twin brother thing. You gotta stick it to him just a little bit.
Yeah, all the Whiskey Charlie on the cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't know you're on there too?
Yeah, you're on the cover of it.
Yeah.
I haven't looked.
Yeah.
That's funny.
You're one of the Anzac guys.
Jolly good.
Yeah. You got the cool hat and everything.
I've got my Akubra, whatever it is.
I forget what they call it, but the cowboy hat with the one side flipped up.
Yeah,
I love those. I love those.
Speaking of which, y'all send a message, check in on him. David had eye surgery a little while back.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I had messaged him a little while back, and he was not answering. Jesse was, so he said he was not. He was still healing. So I was like, okay, I'm going to give him a couple weeks on that before I reach out to him, because when you're having issues with your eyes, you can't really see well. Last thing you want to do is be talking to people. So, what do we got here? Let me catch back up here. It's a cigarette. What is a cigarette with an S? It's with a C. So Herman needs to put me in an expansion of Plum Island Horror Nordics Knockers. The island's best place to find all the best door knockers around. That's true. Or he could Nordics Knockers, the number one place for Korean camping girls.
Yeah. It sounds like either a special forces team or a brothel, right?
or a repo team, Nordics Knockers. We knock on your door, you get your shit.
Really.
So the other thing that we were talking about too, which we kind of got a little, we actually got into a really good conversation about it. I figured we would do that here. Yes, it could be all of the above. Nate was talking about Sea Parent Estate and how you were a little disappointed that that they did not address some of the older issues. And I've been looking forward to getting hold of that because I want to play it. And I know Kev said he had played it and he was like, I can give you the rundown on my thoughts on it. And Nate was telling us that they still have the Killer Stacks thing. And I was like, man, I thought Killer Stacks went away years ago, but that's a SimCan game from 40 some odd years ago. So Killer Stacks were a thing at that time period. And I was like, man, no way. That should never, I think, been done again, but it was, unfortunately. But good thing is, we were discussing it that it's like, okay, here's some ways to house roulette. And you're like, okay, a guy already did house roulette like 16 years ago. And I was like, okay, cool. Now I definitely am getting a copy of it so I can sit down and see how to change things up. And if anybody else has played Sea Power Estate out there, chime in. But Nate, why don't you talk about it? Because you brought that up.
To flesh out what Mo was talking about, if you guys don't know, it's a fictional World War III game, naval game based across the whole world. Basically, NATO versus Soviet Union. I think China kind of fights on the Soviet Union side, but there's only like 5 ships for China, so they're not really a faction. But the gist is it's a big slugfest, right? Naval war starts, you're not rebuilding anything. You have what you have. If you lose shit, you lose shit. And you just keep smashing. The Soviet Union's trying to take out convoys and merchant shipping. That gives them control of bases. NATO's trying to protect it. So the way combat works, it's streamlined to the point that once you learn it, you know it for all different aspects, because combat, the numbers that you're looking at are pretty much the same for air-to-air as anti-surface as submarine. So all combat is handled the same way. You total up the factors for whatever it is. So your anti-air factors, for example, you'll total those up. You're going to compare them against the electronic warfare aspect, the combined total for whoever they're attacking. The difference is the amount of defensive points that you get to destroy for the side that's being attacked. All right, so it works both ways. But let's say you're attacking the aircraft, you destroy, there's a difference of 20 points, you get to destroy 20 DE points worth of their planes. The doom stack that he's talking about is normally in a game like this, you're not going to put all your airplanes in one hex or all your shipping in one hex, but there's no stacking limits here because the hexes are representing just vast swaths of ocean. So you can put everything in one hex. And if you put enough planes or enough subs into a single hex, their combined electronic warfare stat is now high enough that you could have a carrier group that's fighting off these planes, but they don't have a high enough total factor of anti-air points to surpass that electronic warfare. So effectively, they can't do any damage. And that's not realistic because you're not going to have a carrier attack group that has F-14 Tomcats going out there attacking, the enemy fighters, and they don't splash any of them. They're going to splash some of them. But the combat being streamlined as such, the way that it is, it works really well, except for that one aspect. That if you figure out that you doom stack this, now, of course, that means you're open in other places, but there's no reason you can't just move that doom stack along and just start wiping out his shipping everywhere, because now he is unable to do damage back to you. And what he's talking about, the correction was, and I forget who did this, I apologize if he's watching. They talked about this on BGG like 17 years ago about this problem, and they'd come up with a workaround about targeting a certain amount. So you could say you're, instead of targeting the 10 aircraft that are in the hex, you're going to target 5 of them. So now you're only having to deal with the electronic warfare aspect of 5 of those aircraft.
Right.
You might not splash them all, but you got a chance to take some of them down. And that works, and you can use that for all the different aspects of combat, and it solves the problem. But that's not in the rule book. And I'm like, this problem was known almost 2 decades ago. The game's good enough for a reprint. I don't disagree with that. It's cool. It's a big worldwide smash of all naval forces, streamlined enough that you can play it without getting bogged down. And I mean, you know how like naval warfare gets unwieldy and fiddly depending on the game. This isn't like that. This is, you're just going to slug it out and have fun with it. But that just one aspect is keeping it from that great level. And it was known, and it could have been corrected, but it wasn't. And I'm like, Compass, why wouldn't you do that?
Well, I think part of the reason would be, number one, is it's a 40-some-odd-year-old game. How many people are into the game enough to where they would want to spend the time developing it, that they know it well enough that they'd want to sit down and develop it? I mean, just talking about it today, my brain started going, because it's a genre that I love, which is Cold War gone hot. And I was like, okay, my thing is, what I would do at that point is you'd break your air up into your tasking, your strikes, and then the others are going to be cap. Because if you have an air group, you have to have cap, and that's going to protect from enemy fighters and stuff like that. Then you have your seed missions that you could run. You can, what's the ship to ship combat? What's the range on anti-ship missiles? Are they over the horizon? What are the size of the areas? I don't know any of that yet.
It doesn't get that deep. It just doesn't. The combat is not.
But that's what I was saying. I would want to see if you could make it a little deeper, and then with subs would be their own entity. They'd be off on their own. And I would say for them, they have to, number one, you have to detect them. Number two, and I would make detection a little more involved without being too involved. And then the other is the sub also has to detect surface vessels if it wants to
find them, right?
Yeah, both of them have to detect each other. Because you see the submarine running all over the place.
So your anti-surface combat is done in such a way. There's ranges to it. It's a lot to explain, but sub combat is handled at a different phase. And
but isn't it also part of that killer stack you said?
Yes, you can. Just like you can do it with the planes, where you have enough electronic warfare points to kind of make them immortal. You can do the same thing with subs, that they have the same flaw, that if you get enough of them in a stack, it creates a situation where there can't be enough attack power coming in there to actually damage some of them.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things here. There's the fact that the game's 20 plus years old, right? So there's
Yeah.
that, and the designer gets CanSim's stuff, so put out in a magazine format, generally speaking. So it's kind of light and airy and kind of thematic and all the rest of it, and probably not terribly well thought through, not terribly well play tested. Like I know the designer, Steve's a fab guy, love Steve
Oh yeah.
to death. But I bought his Rommel Assault on Tobruk Rommel Triumphant.
Mhm.
It's a straight reprint from CanSim's, and Ty Bomber didn't even proofread the prior rules. The same errors that came in the original game, because I've got a PDF copy of all these old things. It's word for word, so no one checked anything. All the maps have, King's Cross is in the wrong spot, and there's other places that aren't listed, and the combat doesn't work, and it's easy to break, and so all these things, they're all it's like if you were a huge fan of SBI magazine games and you just bought them and loved them and you played all of them, you're like, oh, best game ever, because nostalgia, 99% of it, not because it was a really fucking awesome game.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of what this is, and it's just to me, it would have been really cool if they had got Steve engaged and not just taken the rights with him or from him or however they negotiated that, and said, hey, can you redevelop this for us, and we'll give you 5% more or $1 more a game. Because Sea Power in the State, I almost bought it, and then I went and did some homework, and it's like, no, it's going to be the same as Rommel Triumphant, which a friend of mine is redoing it and redoing the map and redoing the rules and trying to fix it. But that's $40 you may as well just throw in the trash can, because it's a stupid game. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I think for all that, I kind of blame Compass for not being a little bit more, first of all, upfront about, hey, it's a straight reprint, right? When we put a new map in and it looks nicer, but it is what it is. Suck it. If you don't like it, too bad.
I think it was known that it was going to be a reprint, from the best of my knowledge.
But I mean, a reprint, reprint with errata, reprint with no errata.
Yeah.
So I'm not. It's not all Compass Games' fault. I think the designer and the developer should have all got together and said, hey, what do we need to do to make this a quality game so that it's an enjoyable experience? And people, what are we paying now? $59 on sale, so it's already on sale.
And it's got a mounted map. Good.
Yeah, I mean, so it's probably got awesome potential.
Production quality is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll agree with meandering Mike there, and I think I've actually said that in the past as well. Or maybe I copied Mike, but he writes. I love all the articles he writes when he was doing those special editions for the Decision Games, Alexander the Great and all that sort of stuff, and What If and all that. But designing games and everything else, just that guy needs to not touch anything anymore and just stick to his what if bullshit that he does. And they need to get a real game designer in there, a developer in there to help. Because these games could be cool. Assault on Tobruk could have been a really, really cool. That's it, S&T Quarterly, yeah. So Ty does a fantastic job with that. But Sea Power and State could have been awesome. Power and Revolution with Fire and Sword is also a super interesting game, but it's a straight reprint again.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's the thing too, is like I said, with these games that are being republished, how many people would want to step up and develop it? And if they do want to develop it, why don't anybody who does have an interest in the game, say you love a game and
Right.
you think, hey, this would be a great reprint if it was updated, maybe change the order of battle a little bit, or maybe change scenarios up, or you change something, some things that you've always wanted to change up. Maybe at that point.
Let me address that real quick while you mention that, because it sparks something in my mind. And this doesn't make sense to me. So see if you can explain this. In Sea Power in the State, there's 5 scenarios, and they kind of go throughout the years. So it's like 1982, and then like 1988, and then 1992. So it just on throughout time. You get it? and the first one being the earliest, fifth one being the latest.
Are they scenarios or are they campaign kind of things?
They're scenarios,
Okay.
campaigns,
Yeah.
however you want to say it. But on the backs of the counters, it either says A, which means this counter is used in all scenarios, or it'll have the numbers. So it'll say 1, 3, 5, whatever.
Yeah.
But some of the counters, they'll be used in like 1 and 3 and 4, but not 2 and 5. And I could understand it if some of the counters weren't used in some of the earlier ones because, okay, these ships weren't built yet. Right? That would make sense. But why would it be available in the first scenario, but not the second, but then it's available in the third? Like, why?
Maybe it was out of commission during that time period, or a lot of times it ends up coming down to a game balance thing. You know, when you're looking at the numbers and you're crunching them going, oh, you know what, we'll take this one out for this scenario and we'll use this one instead. We'll move it to the third, because that's one of the things that people do forget is there's balance in a war game, which I am of two minds of. I understand from the game side, you want to make a product that everybody can enjoy by having it be somewhat balanced. But at the same time, I like things to be a little more realistic. So yeah, sometimes you're going to be in an unbalanced situation, maybe a very unbalanced situation.
That's the counters that's not included in the first scenario.
So okay. What about 5 or 6?
Well, no, we're talking like 12.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. Not many.
Yeah.
And some of them, like this one, it's 3 to 5. I could see it if the counters came into it later because, okay, these ships weren't built yet. They built more ships as time went on. But it just didn't make sense to me that they would be in some of the earlier ones. Like there are some that say they're in the first scenario, but they're not in the second or third, but they are in the fourth and the fifth. I would get
a good question for Steve.
It grew over time, but it didn't. Just had them missing in some of the middle ones, and there's not that many missing that it seems like a balance issue, because you're not removing out a substantial quality of counters, you know, just a few from each scenario. I mean, honestly speaking, I think you could just include all of them and just be done with it, and it really wouldn't change the game all that much.
Right.
Because you're not leaving out something.
You're doing killer stacks anyway, right? So whatever.
I mean, if you're going to do anything,
like 30 sub counters for the Soviets, they have something like 35 airplanes. Each side has like 10 carriers. Now, carriers, that's a bigger deal having the carriers on the board. But the rest of them, when you get into cruisers and destroyers, there's so many of them on the board that leaving out 2 or 3, it doesn't leave out enough to really change anything.
One thing I would say is with that is, well, I guess everything is meant to be on the board, but wouldn't it be almost in a better way if they had like a bigger counter to use as a task force? So you have task force 1, and you have on the side, you have a card. Okay, because that way you're not moving these stacks around. You're moving just a task force, and then you have your
side has
units on a card
with 10 task force counters, and you can do that. I put all the counters because I set mine up to film. So the film, I set it up a different way. So you
put it all on the board. I play a lot of times with everything on the board because I don't want to keep track of looking back and forth at the things. You know, it's like what's on what board here, what's on what board over here. Nah, just put it all on the map. Screw it.
Yeah, that's so
and
annoying.
They did include. I will give them this. They include a smaller map that's just Europe with substantially larger hexes, because many of those hexes, with all the European countries right next to each other, they've got like 30 counters in a single hex. It's a lot. It's a huge stack. So they included a separate map. So you, at the beginning of the scenario, you can use that to kind of space things out until there's fewer ships on the board. It's not that big of a deal. And it's metagaming is what it is. If you're playing with someone who's actually trying to play the game and not doom stack it, it's not going to affect things. But if you're playing against a dick who just wants to win, then doom stacks are effective.
Well, if you're doom stacking, we're done. Is the way I would look at it. I'm not doom stacking. I don't want to play a solitaire game doom stacking, because it's like, all right, I'm just moving this big tower of stacking.
I'm reading the rules. I'm working out the system. I'm playing.
Sure. Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm wanting to model a Cold War gone hot, naval warfare. So I'm gonna want to change things up.
So look at Avalon Hill's Waterloo, right? 1970 something. That's a doom stacker right there. That bad boy was a massive doom stacker. It took me 20 plays as a 12-year-old to work it out. but that's what you do to win that game. You doomstack. You pile all your Frenchies up and go beat up not Lucia, Wellington, and then off you go.
But only Meandering Mike, you can only do that if you're playing a TIE bomber version of Waterloo.
Yes.
Then you can nuke the other guy.
Because every game has nukes. I'm sorry, I cut you off, Gimpy. What were you going to say, buddy?
No, there are nukes in this game, though. There are
Nice.
actually.
Good. Yeah. Well, there's a deterrent, right? So I would say, anytime there was a stack that had more than X, you get automatic free nuke shot at it, and then you lose the stack, right?
Well,
so
there's escalating levels that are like DEF CON levels.
Yeah.
So each player at the beginning of a turn will secretly pick a number between 1 and 5, and that's going to be the escalation level.
Right.
And whoever picks the highest, that's the escalation level that you're at. But there are some drawbacks once you start hitting the very high ones.
Sure.
That's basically when tactical nukes have come into play and most bases are wiped out. A lot of the ships get wiped out. There is a rule that accounts for a good reason to spread out some of your subs, half of your subs, the ballistic missile subs. If you have those positioned near enemy main targets, like their main bases and cities, at the end of the scenario, they give you victory points because you can lob nukes.
Well, that's what boomers were for.
That's what they're for.
Yeah, they were literally get them over there, get them as close to the mainland as possible, and then just go way deep and sit there silent until you get a launch, and then you raise the launch depth. You fire your missiles, drop down, and beat feet out of town. Right. You know, the other ones, the hunter killers, are the ones that are at the Akulas, the 688s that are out there hunting for those.
Here's my thought process on that, though, because technically what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to have your ballistic subs spread everywhere so you can hit all their targets.
Right.
And you get points for every one of your subs that's within range. And I'm sitting here going, okay, well, I don't see a reason why I wouldn't just put all of my subs in a single hex within range of a target, because now they count for victory points and they can't be killed.
Yeah. Right.
And it still works.
Game breakup, right?
Yeah. So
you know what? It sounds like we gotta get online and play this game, and then we can try to come up with ideas to redevelop some of it.
Yeah, no.
I think the targeting works. It does give you. I would have to read his house rule again. It accounts for a good portion of it to neuter the doom stack a little bit, so it's not immortal.
Yeah, yeah. Me personally, I've never liked, because to me that's just min maxing, And it's like, if you're going to play like that, I'm not interested in playing. And to Kev's point, that is the way the rules are written. So yes, if that's the way the rules are written, then yeah, But me personally, I'm just like, nah. I don't like, if I start stacking so much crap in one thing, I'm like, why am I overstacking the shit out of this one area?
Right.
It
comes back to the whole message about the game. What are we trying to do? What are we trying to model?
Yeah.
What are we trying? What are we? Is this just a goofy ass fun game and we're just blowing stuff up? Great, doesn't matter. Knock yourself out. If you're trying to model at some level of seriousness World War III naval stuff, then make a better effort and everyone take it a little bit more seriously. But if it's broken, which arguably I would say the game, from what I've seen and experienced, it's fundamentally flawed at the very least. You just need to call it out and say, hey, it's kind of foobarred, and here are the things that weren't done that could have been fixed 20 years ago. And maybe the second edition, when they run out of selling this stuff on sale, they can, fix it, right?
Well, the thing is, I think for when the game was released, it was a product of its time, because it came out in 1982, so it's 43 years old. So it was a product of its time. It was a simplistic, more simplistic war game that was probably considered kind of moderate, at that time.
Yeah.
But now you look at it and you're like, no, we're used to more meat, more complexity in our games and more layers, and it could have been updated that way. And maybe it still can be, whether it's house ruled or if they do a second edition.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's lots of potential for it. I look at even a high quality, what I would call a high quality, well polished game, the last gamble. It's got
Mhm.
revised rules and updated OOAs and updated charts and all the rest of it. And he's keeping up and keeping abreast of the developments in the game and the feedback from the game players, making it a better game. It's a better game today than it was when I played it, which is one of the reasons why it'll be probably the next game that goes on the table for December. So
I had not heard about this, Christoph. It wouldn't shock me, and I am really surprised that there were not more collisions. Maybe not as much now, but back in the Cold War, 70s, 80s, that there weren't more collisions with how both sides really screwed with each other. The subs especially. They were the ones that were really playing dances of death out there.
right.
We had our troops that would stand across the line and stare at each other and hurl insults and all, but subs were really playing. They were doing a real deal. Everything up to literally launching torpedoes, and they would screw with each other, sneak up behind each other, pop open a torpedo door, and flood the tube, and then pop the torpedo door open, making the other sub commander think, "Holy shit, they're going to fire on me. Are we at war?" Just to screw them and then close up and then take off, or something like
the
that.
80s were a different time frame than things are now.
Yeah.
There was no sub crash. There's been no report. I'm just looked. Last one was 1992.
Tidal wave maker.
I don't think they went that serious with it because the Americans only have one type of airplane in the game, right? The Soviets have something like 5 or 6 different types of.
Really? What do the Americans have in the game?
Hold on, let me grab the counter.
So these air counters are actual airframes.
Right. So they don't have.
It represents the air power, but I can't really tell from the outline of it what it's supposed to represent. Some type of high-level bomber, maybe a B-52. I can't really tell. It's just the Americans have X amount of air points, and they are this type of counter. That's it.
Okay.
The Soviets have 5 different types, but they all just have stats on them. They're anti-ship, anti-sub, electronic warfare, defensive value, and then their range, how far out they can fly.
So the Americans don't have like E2C Hawkeyes or anything like that?
No, it's not down to that level. It's just you have X amount of air points that you can use, basically, and these are the stats for your air points.
No P3 Orions for ASW or anything like that?
Nope.
So
that's why I was telling you, you can't go into like seed or anything like that because it's just not simulated down to that level. It's just generic.
Once I start messing with it, I'm gonna have to make some counters.
There's nothing wrong with it, though. I mean, there's
no.
with
It sounds like I would enjoy it for
rule.
what it is, but I would sit there and go, "This is fun. I want it to be more."
It's just one flaw. It's just a big flaw in it. If it wasn't for that flaw, it would get a much higher rate.
Well, I mean, the simple house rule on that is if you make monster stacks, you immediately lose the game. Or you take one free new kit and lose half your stack. Just because you're stupid and you put everything in one area.
I mean, once nukes get involved, so many of the ships,
no, you get a free nuke hit. No, it doesn't escalate or anything. You just get hit with a nuke, and that's it. You lose half your shit.
Yeah.
At like DEFCON 4 or whatever it is, the second highest level, all surface shipping except for like a little bit gets wiped out. Mainly you have like planes and subs left. Everything else gets taken out. Most of the bases are taken out. It's supposed to symbolize the fact that like both sides have nuked almost everything of value at this point.
That's cool. I mean, I'm definitely gonna get it, and I'm definitely gonna sit down and play it. I'm sure I'm gonna have fun with it too.
I'm not like I don't want people to think I'm hating on the game. I'm not. I like the game for what it is. Don't get it thinking it's an accurate simulation of like World War III. It's a slugfest between a bunch of different ships going at it, set in a fictional World War III.
Christoph said it was not on Fox, I admit, but it happened. Okay, so did you read it on 4chan or did you read it on Reddit?
Yeah, because I don't watch Fox. I don't have
Either
Fox. But if it's not on all of the military analysts on X or
I think one of us would have heard that. I'm not saying that Christoph's wrong. I'm just saying that something like that would be pretty huge news.
Oh, it's big news. Yeah, and it's on none of them.
Yeah, a sub running into an undersea mountain is huge news. A sub running into another sub, especially if it was an American and a Russian right now with the way things are going on with Russia and Ukraine, people would be saying, "Oh, this was intentional," or "They rammed us," and
Right,
this is
right.
an escalation. You know,
Yeah,
it would be wall
particularly
to wall.
now, right? Particularly now,
Yeah,
right?
it would be wall to wall. You know,
Yeah,
and that would very easily could be seen as an escalation. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
or ineptitude. One of the two. Ineptitude is where I'd lean more
Yeah.
towards, but
Yeah, I mean,
still,
given that we just lost two airframes yesterday off the one
yeah.
carrier. So
Wasn't it fixed wing and a helo?
yeah, fixed wing and helo. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. That's like
What,
holy
off a
shit.
carrier or something?
yeah,
Yeah, just like they what was it, 20 minutes apart or something like
yeah.
that? They said it was a
Mechanic,
communication issue.
yeah, they recovered everybody, so
Yeah,
that's good. But still,
but to me, I'm like, communication issue. That sounds like an easy excuse. To me, it sounds like maybe
it sounds like
somebody's
someone needs to be retired.
that or someone was testing out a new electronic warfare device or
Right,
something and
right,
did
right.
something and went, okay, here's a message. Boom, we're going to take out two of your aircraft,
Yeah.
and you're not going to admit it. We're not going to talk about it. You're not going to admit it, but you know that we have this now. You know,
Yeah, that's a yeah. Now I need to check where they were too. Where were they? Was it South China Sea? I think it was.
Hmm.
I don't know where it was. So here's a fun fact: in the '80s, so I did a tour of the Naval Academy, and we had this 3-star app walking us around, and he was back in the day a P3 Orion pilot, and that's right, it's Harry Truman. Oh no, that's not right. Oh, he's talking about something else. And this guy said that every New Year's Eve, that the Navy would send a message to the like the CNO, Chief Naval Officer, would send a message to their counterpart in Russia every New Year's Eve with the locations of all their boomers, all the Soviet boomers.
the courtesy, the courtesy.
Because just so you know, we know,
Yeah.
and you don't know that we know, but we know, right?
Yeah.
And they were doing it for years. He said that's how good their P3s were. The Orion's signal capture was so advanced, and the Russian subs were so noisy that they could track them all around the world and knew where every single one was. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. Anyway,
yeah. Plus all the underwater, the hydrophone lines like the SOSA and all that stuff that they can help pick up and then zero in and then really tighten it up with the P3s and stuff. I mean, when you look at that stuff that goes on, especially the ASW stuff, that's always been an exciting job, I think, because you're literally playing cat and mouse because you're trying to find out where these guys are in real time for real. You're not trying to shoot them, but if you had to shoot them, you need to know where they're at. So, and they're trying to evade you, which I think is really cool.
Does Christoph have a link for the news article so we can read it or see
no,
it?
I definitely want to know more about it. If it's been reported, I'd like to see because not saying that this country wouldn't hide its, something like that, but I would think that the other thing too is I would think something like that would be getting reported in especially in Europe, really big, saying, wow, they're really trying to push it with NATO. Look what they're doing there. Trump's letting them do this to America. It would be all over the place.
And also it would be a big slap in the face to Department of War as well, right? So that's why you would guarantee that the left would be punching that pretty hard. Maybe just in the last 24 hours. Who knows?
Possible.
Yeah.
But
anyway, that's kind of cool. So interesting.
So any other thoughts on that? Sea Power and Estate. Nate was ready to jump in more about Sea Power. Whoops.
No, I've already covered Sea Power.
Oh, okay.
I get a review coming for it. It will be up soon.
Nice.
But don't hate the game because of its one flaw. If you want, a beer and pretzels naval game, it can fill that niche. It's just not, an accurate simulation.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what the latest is on Lock and Load's World at War 85 naval game.
I didn't know they were doing one.
Yeah, they're. I saw that when they were up here. You were here for that, Kev, weren't you?
Don't take this the wrong way. I mean,
I've seen stuff Keith was working on. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been
he has
working
the
on a lot of
Wargaming.
stuff, and
What's that?
until it's actually like materialized, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, they had a prototype that with rules and I mean, it was actually being worked on. Now, I don't know what the designer is doing with it currently, if they're still working on it, but it seemed like it was going to be very much in the World at War 85 universe, not just the units and all that stuff, but it felt like it was going to be the same type of game from a naval perspective.
That type of system. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could just jump into it, you can get into it, and there was going to be a lot of buttons to push, without a lot of huge giant overhead.
Yeah.
But they're still going to be
scale,
light.
you're going to have individual counters being individual ships, and it wouldn't even be like that big of a ship.
Well, it depends on how you do it. How they ended up finishing.
Could be platooning, like squadrons and stuff.
Yeah, they could break it out into task forces, or they could literally just do individual ships, which is how I would want to do it. It would all depend on a scenario too. If they're gonna, and also, are they going to do hexes, or are they going to do mega hexes with mega hexes? Overlaying them and stuff.
And all that.
And then where you can have like your air power, your air projection, where it's not just on this hex, but now you control this mega hex. You have air
when you
superiority.
start talking about air power, and you're adding it, I mean, modern level air power, or even 80s, 90s air power and up.
Mm-hmm.
The range is so great that the scale you have to back up to actually have the range of matter.
Sure.
Right. You're up to the strategic level at that point. You're way beyond platoon level. So would it be a World War 85 game at that point?
I think it depends on how they handle it, but you've got that over the horizon problem, and I don't know where the cutoff point is with naval games. So like Breaking the Chains got that all wrong, whereas other games have thought about it and done it better. So I don't know how they're going to handle it. Hey, good for you, Cardboard Commander.
There you go.
More power to you. Never catch me dead inside one of those.
Oh, I would have loved to have been in a sub if I was in the Navy. The sub, me, I really love subs. I think they're cool.
You want to be in a pressurized metal tube that you can barely stand up in, hundreds of feet below the water.
Sure, why not? I was in a tank. It's the same thing, just on land.
No, because
it's a rolling death box.
You can go pop, and hey, look, there's air to breathe. Something happens in the submarine.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, though, the thing about it is, if you get hit by a torpedo in a submarine, you implode, you're gonna die really quick. You get hit in a tank, if the explosion and the spalling doesn't kill you, you're gonna burn to death. So it sucks either way.
Don't get hit.
Well, yeah, there's that, but there's this thing that the other guy gets a vote to in combat. So
exactly.
Okay, the Abrams tank has that reactive armor, right?
Well, they've had ERA for a while. Even the M60s had ERA. So
all right, so
hold on,
that's protective. The submarine can't have explosive armor.
No, but they have double hulls and things like that.
They have all sorts of stuff. They have like top secret things,
countermeasures, and they have double hulls, and they have what do you call it? They have stealth. One thing.
First, you got to find it. You got to find the fuckers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing.
You ever hear the stories about the ships that go down, and there's like an air pocket left, and the one dude strapped in the air pocket, living off a pack of crackers for a week before they? No, hell, I would die. No, I am a little claustrophobic, dude. I got a fear of drowning.
You're a Marine. We're soldiers from the sea.
Yes,
the water is part of our life. We're amphibious beings.
I will cruise across the surface waves to go kill my enemy. And I fought in the friggin' desert. There's not a wave to be seen.
I know that was the funniest thing, and that's why the Force Design 2030 they were saying, we need to stop this being 500 miles inland and no water around. It's like, well, where the fight is, that's where the Marines go. So if it's 500 miles inland or if it's on the coast, it doesn't matter. That's where you go.
Yeah,
If I wanted to be a drowned rat, I'd join the Navy SEALs or something, man. Let them
drown. So he says, in a war, would you rather be in a tank or a sub? He would take the sub.
Yep.
Yes.
You got to find us first. Not easy.
Yeah.
So my nephew likes to be a sub.
One ping only, please.
Yeah, he was a subby. My nephew's is at nuke school right now. He's going to be on the Hunter Killer stuff.
Nice.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah, and it all depends too. Like, being a Tomahawk Tech, like Cardboard Commander was, that sounds like it would be really cool. But I mean, me, obviously, you want to be in where the action is. You want to be, sonar is where you want to be, because you want to be finding where the other guy is, and that's the whole cat and mouse thing right there. Is your
Yeah.
tech against their tech, your ears against their ears. And now, of course, everything's very high tech to where computers do a lot of that for you, but it still comes down to the guy operating the sonar and listening and hearing and experience and having that discerning ear that
Right.
will also still do something outside of what a computer can do. I mean, everybody loves watching Hunt for Red October and Jonesy, when the way he figured out that it was the Russian sub, the Red October, and then he knew how to track it and everything. All that stuff's really cool. Obviously, it's a book and it's fiction, but still,
Right.
being that guy, being able to pick something out from all the clutter of background noise that you get under the
Under the
water
ocean.
is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, you
Very
got to try
cool.
that game Cold Waters if you haven't.
I do.
You have
I
played
have.
it?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I
Yeah,
love that
you
game.
got to dial in to find the right acoustic signature to figure out what you're tracking, whether it's surface ship, submarine, enemy sub, or what type of sub it is. That, if you guys haven't played that, that's a really good game. Get that while it's on sale this Christmas season.
Yeah, it'll be on sale for the holiday sale for sure. Definitely pick it up. And the other thing too that was about that is it's very approachable. It's a very light sim, but you can get into the deeper aspects of it. They have I think it's called the realism mod or something like that I have on there too, which makes it a lot more tough. But the only thing that I don't like about it, I like and I dislike about it, is the fact that you're moving your guy across the map, and then when you get into contact with a subsurface contact or a surface contact, it stops you at like 40,000 yards or 50,000 yards, something like that, and then you have to try to work up the contact. But I wish that they had a way of allowing you to say, okay, how do you want to approach that contact? Do you want to approach from the south, or do you want to approach from the north, based on underwater terrain and thermal layers, things like that? All that should be part of the decision making that you have, I think. And they didn't make that. They didn't do that because they kept it pretty light
Simple.
in that regard. Yeah.
I mean, if you want the deeper aspect, you can also go with Sea Power from Matrix Games. It's got a lot of sub scenarios in it as well.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely
on
going to be
Steam.
getting that.
Cold Waters, I mean, I think it was like 30 or 40 bucks or so, but you can get it on sale easy. It's been out for a while, so you could probably get it for 20 bucks or under when it goes on
Wait
sale.
a minute. The Hunt for Red October happened? No way did they have a Scottish speaking subcategory. One thing only, please.
Yeah, I was going to say sale stuff. Compass has got their sale. Well, there's good stuff on sale.
Yeah, they got a lot of great sale. That was one of the things we were going to talk about too, is the Compass sale, and they've got a lot of really good a lot of good games at really good prices. They always do, and it goes till after the holidays. So you're not stuck in having to get it in before Christmas. You can wait for some Christmas money and then spend it afterwards too, which is pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah, smart. Yeah, I just ordered the Russia besieged Finnish module expansion.
Nice. Yeah.
And something else I was looking at as well. I can't remember now, but some game I think I sold off that I'm going to go buy back. So
Vilnius Nastavnik, the Vilnius schoolmaster.
No, I'll tell you what, I'm going to save up my gaming funds, my little allowance for the next few months, and finally just get myself World in Flames, the collector's edition.
Oh my god, dude!
I want it, man. I've wanted that one for years, and I'm finally just going to pull the trigger on it.
Which one are you getting?
World in Flames.
World in Flames.
I like that that grand world scale.
No, yeah, you do. Yeah, you really love that giant scope, game, and you have the War, right? The War Europe.
I've got the War Pacific.
Okay, because the War Europe also does that same type of thing. It's all of Europe. Then the War Pacific's all the Pacific, but World in Flames is the entire globe. So that
they didn't put the War Europe on sale. They put the Pacific on sale.
The War Europe, I think, is out of print.
Oh, they sold out?
I believe that's out of print. Yeah, that and the expansion.
Yeah. I've already got the Pacific. I mean, but I'm more interested in the Pacific anyway. So
Yeah.
it's
Have you
more-
played it?
No, I haven't got it to the table yet.
Well, so I thought you loved strategic games.
I do, but I have to cover the games that are sent to me before I cover the games that I just want to cover. If Compass wants me to specifically cover something, they got to send it to me. Because if I get it, then it has to go after the ones that other people have sent to me.
You have poor priorities.
No, I honor.
Listen to
Kev.
Kev. He's a retired man now, so he has all the time to play any game that he wants, and he plays multiple games a week. He's like, yeah, your priorities are messed up. So, okay. What else are you looking to get in the sale, Kev?
Well, I've been looking at Europe in turmoil, the sort of prelude to the Great War. I think that's super interesting. Market Garden from the World War II Commander series. It was funny. I was looking at Starkweather's Tinian, that Pacific Islands campaigns. But all the other modules are gone. I guess they're out of print. That's the only one that's left, or something.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I picked up Trench Raid. I should have waited for that to go on sale, but whatever.
Oh, that's totally worth it.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
It's a fun game. That's a really fun game.
Which one was
Trench Raid?
Trench Raid.
Oh yeah, Trench Raid's good.
That's so much fun. That game is just, that was one of the few games this year that I got to play multiple times, because you can set it up and play multiple games in an evening without even trying really hard, because it just moves really quickly. Yeah. And then the more after the first time you're playing, like, okay, am I doing the steps right? Yeah, I got it all down. By the second time you start playing it, you're just like boom, 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 boom. You're just moving along. The narrative is just being created.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You got guys' heads, voices in your head. You're building characters as you go. Awesome. It's so fun.
That's awesome. What's this? The Great Hunger Island Tragedy in the 19th Century. What is that game that's on?
That's going to be about the Irish potato famine, I believe.
Oh, to be sure.
I'm pretty sure that's what that was.
Everyone's looking for a tater.
Little taters.
Golly, I'm not sure. I'll have to have a look at that, but just heritage. But and that's probably it. I saw some magazine games, but I'm kind of like, I don't know. So I'm keen to see them actually get For the Motherland out, and this Air and Armor 5th Corps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But despite the fact that it's it is what it is. I am going to pick it up anyway. I've got it on pre-order.
You got to bitch, moan, cry, and complain about it. Get it and say the rule book is too long, and you know what the rule book's going to be.
Yeah, no, I'm going to get it. I mean, I won't complain about it. I probably won't even cover it. I'll just play it.
Tony, get British Tank Ace. You'll be happy. Just
I've played it already. I'm good. I've played a couple of times. I don't need to own it. I'm good.
Now, British Tank Ace. Yeah, that'll be another. Great one to get.
Exactly. If it's on sale, I would encourage people to get it.
It's like Western Front Ace for tanks, is what it is. Yeah. It's got everything.
And Spitfire Ace is coming soon too.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to be awesome.
I'm trying to see what else they've got here. I've got it open.
Belter is one that I want to get.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that. So, what do you know about it?
They're at this point.
They're redoing it.
That they're making it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say it's a redo? What do you mean? Is it another Can Sims game and they're redoing it?
It's a reprint. I know that. I don't know if there's any further development going on it.
Okay, well then I'm out. I mean, come on. So I'm going to go look up Belter. I'm going to go look up all the things that are wrong with it.
It's GDW. It's not Can Sim. That's the thing.
Okay, so that's better.
So there, you can rest assured there.
Brett better come through for me, because I told her, I was like, I'm calling dibs. That's one I want. I don't get Compass. Like, I'll tell them, hey, I'm interested in this. They won't say anything back to me, and then weeks later, something will just show up on my doorstep, and I'm like, okay.
You know what's really cool that I didn't even know? And so, is the only way that new games that are announced is on the Thursday night thing?
No, they do post them up there, but they do talk about it on the
Torpedo Junction.
Torpedo Junction.
Epic.
Mm-hmm. That one, we saw that at CSW Dallas.
Yeah. So I was talking to John Kranz and the designer who whose name it's probably,
Where is John? I haven't seen him in a while.
he's going to.
He went back to the corporate world.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah, he went back there a while back. He went to back into the IT world, and that's pretty much become his life.
Yeah. So Bill Cooper, the designer, he was building this. It's a massive game, right? So, but they've broken it up now into I think it's going to be 3 modules. So I should get design credits for that, right? Because I suggested that. You need to break this up because it's too big and too much.
It's too big.
Yeah, they're going to do Guadalcanal first. I'll order 2 of those. That game system is really, really, really interesting. And
Yeah.
If you're in the Pacific Theater and want a simulation that is actually playable, I think, don't quote me, but I think this is it. It's going to be pretty solid. I spent an hour and a half with the guy going over the game. It looks really good. So anyway, that's me talking.
I have to try that out.
And then for Jeff, there's Grand Army of the Republic, which is coming out too. That's the designer signature edition. That's going to be North and South.
Oh yeah.
So
And who's the designer on that again?
That one is designed. Hold on, if I can get this thing here. Roger Nord is the designer on that. And that's they said that several changes have been made to the game, incorporating exciting concepts such as promotion of generals and game enhancing variants from longtime enthusiasts, Volunteers magazine, and the designer himself. In addition, a completely new solitaire version has been added along with several charts to guide the single player through the experience. So that is going to be an interesting part right there too. So you're going to have 2-player and then solitaire, dedicated solitaire, which is huge.
Yeah, obviously you 2 Jawheads are going to get Island Infernos. Right?
Island Infernos, hell to the end.
Oh hell, I'm so on board for that fucking thing. That's going to be epic. 4 battles, 3 battles. Is it 3? 1, 2, 3, 4 battles. Yeah. Saipan, Guadalcanal, Bougainville, Biak.
Yeah.
That's Marines. That's Marines.
Hell yeah, that's going to be great. And it says the master rules offer a gentle learning curve with minimal administrative overhead.
Gentle
learning.
Island Infernos offers specific war buffs, a fun and challenging experience for beginner and veteran wargamers alike. An optional combat card system helps ensure players can't crack the ground combat system. So I'm interested to see how that, what that's all about and how that's going to help. So
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
we do need more Pacific War land battles.
Yeah, I got excited. I was just going through the website looking for fun stuff, and I was like, "Wow, these are all new games that look really cool." So I ordered all of those. So
what about you, Nate? You going to order anything from the sale?
Not from the sale. I either already have it or it's not worth getting. It's not saying that if I didn't already have the War of the Pacific, I would get that because that one's on a good sale down to what was it, $80. But the others, I'll talk to you guys about the others just to see if there was anything worth it. And while I disagree with Kev, I think the little land is worth getting for $30. I think there's enough gameplay to justify it.
Yeah, well, it may be worth $30.
Well, that's what I'm saying. For $30, you get plenty of game.
Or whatever the fuck it was.
No,
I think Nate, or not Nate, Kev, I think you meant VUCA, because that's what I was going to ask Shane about too.
Oh shoot, is it VUCA?
Modern Battles? Yeah. I am really stoked for that. That is.
I talked to them about that.
We got to get Shane on to talk about that.
I talked to him into sending me a copy of that one.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I talked to him and basically told him I was interested and it's something I would like to cover. And if they'd be willing to send me a copy, I'd appreciate it. And they're like,
I see how
we'll
it is.
put you down for it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's good. That's good, Nate. That's great. Yeah, thanks for hooking our brothers up. That's good.
Right. I toss your name out all the time. I don't want
I bet you toss my name out.
Yeah, he tosses it out. Don't say that to that Kev guy. He's a real dick.
Pulling your pud, that's when you toss my name out.
No way, really? It's already shipping?
For MMP,
what?
I was telling him, I was like, send Kevin shit. He covers MMP stuff all the time.
Yes.
You guys should work with him. And he, to his credit, he tried, but MMP is just not good about sending out review copies.
Now I need to
MMP is
double.
not good for a lot of things. They don't really advertise a lot. They're their own self-contained little entity.
Yeah.
He tried talking to him about it. He was like, look, I've got a guy who comes to my store all the time. He runs a channel. He advertises for my store. Like,
Mhm.
blah, 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 talking it up. And I told him about Kev. I'm like, look, I don't cover a whole lot of MMP stuff, but
When's it
Schmuckatelli over
shipping in
here
the
does.
US? When's it shipping in the US, Shane? Please be before Christmas. Please be before Christmas.
What
If
is
it's
it
shipping
that
down
Volker's
here.
got coming out soon? They got another big one coming out.
Who?
Volca.
VUCA? Yeah,
VUCA?
the modern warfare game from
No, there was
Shane.
something else. It was like,
Modern Tactics.
what was it? I thought it was a sequel to something else they had done previously. I might be thinking of the wrong company.
Nuts is supposed to come out with second edition.
Phantom Fury again.
That's
No,
out already.
no, that one's out already. They did come out with that one, but the other one, what was that? Not close combat. I just went
Oh,
brain dead.
the block game.
Yeah, the mount block game, and I can't remember the name of it right now. But
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, have a nice day.
I don't get that. Nordic Volca's counters never bothered me. I always thought they were good.
Whose counters?
VUCA.
VUCA.
I don't
Okay.
mind them. I just they get a little too pastel-y and pink and purple and lame.
No, I think
thought they had
what
good
Nordic's
graphics.
talking about is the texture, because they have that like that
satin
ivory,
finish.
yeah, that ivory or satin, whatever it is.
Like a linen finish to
Yeah,
the
the
counter.
linen finish. Yeah, that it kind of makes them slide a little bit easier, So yeah, I know that's not always a popular one with everyone, because we're used to just the standard flat, they'll pretty much stack pretty easy counters. Those stack, but they also can slide a little bit. But yeah, I'm really excited about Modern Tactics. That's going to be really cool.
Oh,
because it's
Imperial
modern.
Borders is going to be delivering hopefully soon. They talked to me. They have it at the printer, so hopefully that will be delivering to everyone soon. That was the one that Napoleonic era style, real big game. Same people that made War Room, Nightingale Games.
Yeah,
they've got another one coming up. Something demons. Damn, can't remember the name.
So,
of it.
got a question, Shane. You're going to have a vassal module for that? Because if so, I'm going to talk to you, but we'll talk offline about that. But we should get him on and do a Friday Night Fights
for which
Modern
game?
Tactics. Modern Tactics.
Yeah.
So we can go over how the game plays. We can play it live and have anybody have questions. Try to time it around the same time that it's going to start shipping in the US. So that way, give it a little more attention. And anybody who's been curious about it or been on the fence, they see it in action. And they're like, okay, I got to place the order now because it's shipping. Don't want to miss out. Okay, awesome. So there is one. Excellent. We're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah, reach out to them.
Getting together and doing our Friday Night Fights where we'll all get together, we'll all play, and you can kind of walk us through and explain anything that you want to talk about with the game. And then, of course, answer any questions from the audience while we all talk smack and shoot each other and have fun. So
Burning Banners is good. Get it. You'll be happy.
Trust me. A lot of people have been very, very excited with Burning Banners. It has sold very well for Compass. They did really well with that. And it's been very well received by everybody, wargamers and non-wargamers alike, who were attracted to it for the fantasy theme. And didn't realize it was a war game, and now they're playing a war game. They don't even realize it because it's fantasy, and they're just like, "Oh, okay," So it's done really, really well.
Well, not to mention the fact that it actually did asymmetric combat, and it did it well. All the factions do feel unique.
Yeah.
They have their own little style. Some of them are horde factions, undead factions. Some the Viking ones kind of sail around the sea better, have better sea movement. And it all worked well. It seemed like that one was very well play tested. Excellent components, very nice maps, pre-rounded counters. I mean, it's good across the board.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I watched a full play of that being played at a con, and it went the distance too. It's a long game. It's gorgeous to look at. Busy map, busy, with tokens and bits and
good
pieces.
map,
but it all makes sense. Yeah, maps epic, and then they've got that huge expansion for it as well. It's very cool.
Yeah, it definitely is. He actually did the art, I believe, himself.
Really?
The designer, yeah, if I remember correctly, he did the art for that as well, and it kind of reminds me of oh, I just went brain dead. A most fearful sacrifice. Uh, who did the map for that now? Why did I go brain dead?
because you don't.
You're talking about
Uh, Rick Barber.
yeah, Rick. Right.
It reminds me of his style, but it's done in a fantasy way. Like it's all like hand drawn type of thing. You can feel a lot of personal touches are added to the map because of that, which I think is fantastic. And that really does give the map its own unique personality, which is part of the uniqueness of the game itself. Just like with any of Rick's maps, you just see the art and you're like, wow, it's just gorgeous art. And you can really appreciate it. And you can sit there and stare at it. And it's not just a map anymore that you're playing on. You can appreciate the art, which I think is really cool.
I think that was like Gamer of the Year for Compass when they released it, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. It did really well for them. It has done well in sales and as far as reviews, everybody has really enjoyed it. So Nordic says, I was considering Last Gamble, but stumbled on a steal of a price for BCS Last Blitzkrieg and got that instead. Maybe I will think about getting Last Gamble as well. Well, you have time because that sale goes till January.
Yeah, look, and there's also a bunch. What I was trying to type and it got blocked for some freaking reason, but there's a bunch of extra optional rules. There's already a whole swag of optional rules, but there's a bunch of extra optional rules that the developer's been working on, that designers been working on, that add, cool what ifs and look at, actual unit capabilities and degrade or upgrade certain formations based on more historical information he's found out, and some cool, extra what if bits and pieces. There's an article coming out in a Paper Wars, if it's not already out, that I've got a copy of, but there's also, he's posting extra stuff in the Facebook group for it as well. So it's probably, if it's not the best Bulge game out there, it's close. It's second.
Yes.
Yeah. So superb.
And there's so much in it. It's just chock full of everything.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous amount of content.
It would have to be really good to knock off Enemy Action Ardennes, because that's always been my favorite.
Yeah, really. I mean, for a start, oh my God, it's got dice for a CRT. Oh no!
You're the one that hates the chip pull mechanic, but I find it to be ingenious. It gives you a 20-sided die.
Oh, I love the
variables for things like combined arms, and
my
artillery support, air support.
I love chip pull, but I like chip pull where I can still roll dice. I do love the chip pull, and like we were talking about Boog River and the Formation series, I love the variable combat, the variable chip pull for the combat. I wish that more games added that in.
You got to have one hell of a combat system to have a system that works well and has so many fans that does not have any dice. Right? Think about all the games that have not had dice. They have been well received. Fields of Fire, Enemy Action.
Yeah, there's something that makes my skin crawl.
That's fine. That's fine. If you like it, that's great. You don't need to justify it to me. I think it's stupid. Don't care.
I mean, your favorite game is U-Boat, so I don't want to hear
it. Yeah, I know. It's a war game of the year, buddy. Don't go knocking it, okay?
Yeah. Bestest
don't go knocking that.
That's best map ever.
That's the best map ever.
Best map ever. Come on, man.
Number one war game of all time.
You can't fault them for marketing.
Twilight Struggle.
Ballot stuffing.
It and Twilight Struggle, two best war games ever. Don't
absolutely.
Argue.
Twilight Struggle, 100% war game.
Do not argue.
It's a good strategery game. But so yes, it was Chris Muller. He was the one that did the art. And interesting thing is, he did start as an artist first and then became a designer later. That's where the benefit for him with Burning Banners was. He was able to create the world, the lore, the art, everything, and built out the game from there, which is that's another one of the benefits to that, is if you like fantasy and you like having a world and you like war games, I mean, it's everything that you could want, all just kind of like perfect storm. And they're continuing it because they're going to have expansions and stuff too.
It's
So
gonna be awesome. And I love fantasy, and when I love fantasy, when I like to play a fantasy game, I get enemy action idea now, and I put a whole bunch of chits in a little cup, and I rummage around in there. I go, ooh, I wonder which combat result I'm gonna get, and I pull it out, and I go, yeah, it's a fantasy.
Dick.
Well, so what was I going to say? Like I said, we're going to be talking to Shane offline about getting him on here pretty soon to talk about
Cool.
Modern Tactics, because if it's shipping in Europe, it's going to be shipping the US here pretty soon, and maybe I'll reach out to Patrick too and see about getting, that might have to happen on a weekend with Patrick because he's in Germany, but we'll get him on, talk about it, and get some interest going for everybody here in the States who's been considering it. If you're not already familiar with Shane's designs, shame on you. But if you are and you're interested in definitely Modern Tactics is one to check out. I know I sure as hell have been excited. The minute I heard he was doing Modern Tactics, I was like, hell to the yeah.
Gosh. Yeah. And I just realized I had not punched the button on the order yet because I was waiting for it to get closer, because they didn't really have an option to not pay until you had to pay straight away. So I'm about to push yes as soon as I can find a credit card somewhere.
We just have to find out when it's going to ship.
Right.
That's the only thing he's not sure yet. So just saying, we're talking about orcs. Where's Charles? Charles Latour is not here. It's Chuck lurking. He's always got videos about all his miniatures and stuff like that, all the orcs and stuff. So,
does he really? Oh,
yeah, he's always got stuff that he's posting up about that. So yeah, it's like, where's Charles right now? But so we're gonna wrap it up for this month, and like I said, we'll talk to Shane and see about getting him on a future show. Nate, what do you got coming up here soon?
Like I got in the background, I got In a Dark Wood. I finally got the review out for that one, positive review. And I'm going to be doing just a little play of it, not a full series, just moving some counters, kind of showing how the game works with the command system, issuing orders, all that good stuff. Going to have the Sea Power in the State, like I talked about. And then there's a bunch of other good stuff. And like I've always made sure to mention, I've lined up some giveaways already for Christmas.
Nice.
Ahead this time. Got some stuff, good stuff lined up for you guys. Stuff I don't even have. So you guys will be very happy.
Wow, look at that. Awesome.
What's that?
That's awesome.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
It might rhyme with Rocket Chickamauga. So
Chickamauga. What would rhyme with Chickamauga? We'll have to think about that. Kev, what do you got coming up?
Well, I'm grinding on Battle for Normandy, where some fun with that. I've got my play by poll, which I need to restart that. I'm excited to keep that going on Facebook. I had a handful of messages asking me to keep plugging away. Just wrapped up Empire of the Sun, so there'll be a long set of articles coming out on the blog for that to look at, my gameplay thoughts and system thoughts on it. And then my Monday night buddy in Australia, we're playing the old SBI Central Front series, EAOR. Nice. Yeah, we played a test turn last night, made a few mistakes, got some things cleared up, consolidated, because there's 4 zillion sets of rules flying around, which rules we're going to use. So we'll be doing that every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You're welcome to join on Vassal, and if you behave yourself, you can join the Facebook chat or Discord if we do it, whatever works. But that's about it, really. I've got, and then heading into November, I'm debating the Last Gamble, BCS, Last Blitzkrieg. We'll see which one, or something completely different, because I have no plans. There we go.
Nice.
Oh, and before I forget to mention, just a FYI for people, I did put up a preview of Flashpoint Campaigns Cold War. That one is releasing in November. Digital games coming on Steam from Slytherin Games. Really, really excellent hex encounter war game. If you're into, if you've tried Flashpoint campaigns, Southern Storm, that was really good. This is like that, except bigger, more campaigns, more scenarios, more units, more everything. Just excellent game. Plays real similar to how In a Dark Wood does, in the way that, you know, you issue out your orders, the enemy issue out their orders, and then you hit play and it kind of plays out all those orders. But the computer's handling this, obviously, since it's a digital game. Can't recommend it enough, though. Absolutely love it. Make sure you check out the video.
Which one is that again?
Is that an expansion?
No, this standalone. Flashpoint campaigns, Cold War.
Yeah, I've got that, and they've got a Southern campaign as well.
Southern Storm.
Yeah, that's a really good game.
Yeah,
most of the time. Yeah.
And which one is this that you're talking about?
What's that?
Which one was that you're talking about again? Sorry.
Flashpoint campaigns, Cold War.
Cold War.
The next one coming up. It's standalone. It's not an expansion. The Southern Storm's the one I covered previously. I'm going to do another tutorial series, and it's not really a tutorial. They put a tutorial with the game, but I just turn their tutorial into a video and show you how.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Okay, so this is a net new game.
Yes.
Same system. Yeah. Okay.
And it's a lot bigger. If you've played the previous one, this one just adds more of what was already good.
Right.
More scenarios, more campaigns, more units, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Now, do you have Inflection Point, Kev?
Yeah, I do. I've got to get to it. I'm back order on games. I've got so many games backed up.
Lunch on.
It's the Slytherin.
Yeah, Slytherin games.
Slytherin.
Slither.
It makes it sound kind of Hogwartsy. Slytherin, though, but not Slytherin. But yeah, so Kev will get to Inflection Point here pretty soon, I'm sure, because he's got all the time now in the world. Because
you just make it like I have nothing to do.
No, I know. But what was I going to say? The one I've got coming up, I was hoping to get it out sometime this week, if not early next week. Now it's going to be a really time crunch to get it out before Compass Expo next week. But I've finally have set some time aside to do the next Learn to Play with Gil from for Kaiser's High Sea Fleet. And we had a couple of false starts because of a couple issues with the Vassal module, just minor things that needed to be corrected, and they're corrected now. So hopefully we'll record, I believe, tomorrow night, which will be, or I'm sorry, Thursday night, which will be the only night this week that I'll be free, because I got hockey tomorrow. I got hockey on Friday and Saturday. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to try to jam through that and get it out, hopefully before Compass Expo. If not, then it'll be right after Compass Expo, because Learn to Play Series has been on hiatus for most of the year because of my schedule this year has been so jammed up that I haven't had time to do my own stuff and enjoy games. And I've got so many videos that I haven't even had the time or desire to sit down and edit that I just haven't posted, because I've just been burnt by the time I get home.
Just doing like Kev does. Hit record and hope for the best.
Yeah, I could do that, or I could just be like, retire. But I'm getting closer, but I'm still a little ways away from retirement. I got about a year and a half, and then I can get out. Then I have all the free time in the world that I want. So at least that's what I'm telling myself now. So hopefully that'll be. Anyway. That's true. Yeah, you're never retiring. Oh no, I am retiring, but I'll find other stuff to keep me very busy. I have a lot of plans for retirement already. So
she'll give you a honeydew list.
Oh yeah, I'm sure there's always going to be that. But I mean, I'm getting back into model building. I'm going to get back into painting miniatures. I'm going to get back into astronomy. I mean, I have a whole bunch of things. I am not going to be bored.
That's awesome, dude.
In retirement. And I'd like to start messing around with, well, what do you got there?
It's from Epic Warpath.
Oh, nice.
The epic scale game from Manta Games.
Yeah.
I backed their Kickstarter way back when, and finally delivered. So I'm painting up all those tiny little 6mm figures.
Very cool.
6 mils. Wow.
Yeah, they're tiny. It's a pain in the ass.
Kev doesn't have time. He just got back from fighting the Huns in Normandy.
Yep.
Hey, someone had to do it.
Yeah, I can retire and work on more Air and Armor videos. Well, that is one of the things I plan to do more of in retirement is get more involved with game stuff and not only doing videos, but I would like to hopefully get to do some development work and I've even kind of kicked around some ideas for games and a couple of designers have said, yeah, well, let's design a game. So who knows, maybe that'll happen. I don't know. I have no delusions of grandeur of being some great game designer, but a couple of ideas I'd like to, play around with and see what can happen, either as design or development.
Super cool.
Super cool. A lot of fun. So we'll see how that all turns out. But anyway, that will be it for this month. We appreciate you guys tuning in, and we will see you on the next one. Have a great night, everybody.